Oh, it's time. It's time. It is time. This is 7 years in the making. This is over 2 months of waiting. This is the conclusion of Clementine's fantastic story, and this might just be the very end of Telltale and Skybound Games' The Walking Dead. This is The Walking Dead, the final season as we know it, and we're just a few days away from the emotional conclusion to this outstanding franchise. It's time to get into it. Roll my intro. Good afternoon to you all, and welcome to yet another The Walking Dead, the final season video from myself. And honestly, I just really want to get into it. If you want to avoid any spoilers about the final ever episode Take Us Back, then please leave now. I don't want you to get spoiled, and I really just want to digest and break down everything that happened in that trailer. I've started to plan this video around 20 to 30 minutes after the trailer dropped, so unsurprisingly my excitement levels are currently through the roof. This video is just going to be me breaking down basically a lot of what happened in the trailer, but for obvious reasons I will not comment on everything that happened. For example, it's obvious that characters like Minerva and Lily are still alive, well depending on your choices of course, so this is the type of thing which I will not be commenting on. Also, I'll definitely discuss the leaked images afterwards, and will probably also offer you all some theories and predictions throughout the video. But yeah, let's get to it. The trailer makes it seem like we're going to start the episode right where we left off, with Clementine getting up following the explosion, and it seems like they've already teased the first death of the episode, with Clementine's hat nowhere to be found. R.I.P. hat.
Never mind the darkness. Never mind.
This whole cave scene looks really interesting. Thanks to one of the screenshots, and also from what we see later in the trailer, it seems like we will 100% visit this location. It looks really eerie and mysterious, so I'm expecting something big to happen here. The only logical thinking I have behind this scene currently is that perhaps the Erickson crew divide into two to find someone or something. Maybe the remaining raiders all escape, or someone important, like Violet or Lewis, gets lost, so they decide to split into two. From what we can see, one half will consist of Clementine, AJ, Ten, and determinately James, while I guess the other side will contain at least Lewis or Violet, along with any of the unseen characters from Erickson like Asim or Omar, if they're still alive that is. I feel like this little bit could actually be our first look at AJ's descension into darkness. He looks absolutely furious in this little scene. Perhaps this could be his first proper reaction to Clementine after she determinedly tells AJ to spare Lily, which then results in James's death. I commented in my previous video that AJ might begin to follow his own decisions and ignore Clementine, and this scene might just be the start of that happening.
Never mind the storm. Never mind the blood red.
Next up is this little scene involving Minerva, which looks a bit weird to me. She's looking down, which could insinuate she's sad, so maybe something awful has happened. Otherwise, this could just be the quote-unquote reveal in the episode that Minerva is still in fact alive. She definitely should be thanking Violet for saving her life. Now, there isn't really anything to comment on here, but the axe that Minerva is holding seems pretty interesting to me. We see Clementine swing an axe later in the trailer, and the first promotional poster to hype up the final episode shows AJ holding an axe. There might be a choice involving Minerva where you spare or kill her, which could prove to be a crucial choice, since killing her might result in both Clem and AJ using that axe later on.
The night will be on.
So it's daytime finally, and Clementine looks pretty sad, and AJ looks shocked. I imagine the duo were able to get back to Erickson safely, but are surprised at what they find. We don't see Ten with them here, which is a bit of a worry. But again, this is just a trailer. He could be perfectly fine and with them, but just wasn't shown here. If they have returned to Erickson, maybe they discovered that something terrible happened. Neither Ruby or Willie are seen in the trailer, but are the only members along with Rosie that were confirmed alive following the end of episode 3. Maybe they're all dead, or maybe the duo, or trio, involving Clementine and AJ of course, realize that no one is actually home at Erickson, so they all decide to turn around to try and find and also save whoever they can.
Brush away your sorrow.
I've seen some people on Twitter and Reddit comment on how this is a relationship scene between Clementine and Violet, but this isn't actually the case. For just a few frames in the trailer, you can see that Clementine isn't wearing her badge, and for the record she is wearing it at other stages in the trailer. I imagine this scene will only happen if you saved Lewis back in episode 2, with Violet now apologising to Clementine after she attacked her towards the end of episode 3.
Brush away your...
This looks crucial. Clementine's wearing a hat again, and maybe it's just me, but she looks a little bit younger in this little scene. I know some people have already commented on it, but I think this little bit is giving us a sneak peek of what truly happened back at the Macaro Ranch. Clementine's face looks really red, and she also looks pretty sad too. And on the topic of red, we've seen shades of this colour used multiple times throughout the season when something important has happened. For example, there's been Brody's zombified death, the nightmare sequence, and also Clementine's face just before she tells AJ whether to kill or spare Lily. Since it's been confirmed that we'll learn the truth about what happened at the ranch, it seems like this is part of the moment where we will find out the truth. James dropping his mask seems pretty significant to me, and there's numerous paths this could be leading to. He could simply just be dropping his mask after wearing it, but there are other more interesting explanations for this. On one side we could see a complete personality shift from James. After everything that's happened, perhaps he's realised he can no longer go on and treat walkers like they're people. On the other side, James could be dropping his mask in anger, since he seemed pretty frustrated back in the last episode at Clementine, since she allowed AJ to kill Lily. It's only Clementine and AJ once again, and this time we see Clementine kill Gad. I'm not really sure where this environment is, but it could be on their way to returning back to Erickson. And speaking of readers, this sequence in the trailer was really weird. We only see Gina and Celine and no one else. No Lily, no James, no Clementine, or anyone else. It's just these two, and I'm not exactly sure why. This shot is fantastic. I'm not entirely sure how everyone's made it off the boat so safe and sound, and also it seems like the boat never actually left the pier, which is a bit weird because I thought that's what happened back in episode 3. But this scene just looks so damn good. I even had to make it my header image on Twitter. It's shots like this that really makes me appreciate the art style for this season. Okay, so everything that happens in the trailer after this point happens pretty fast, so I'm going to have to comment quickly on everything that happens in one go. We're back in the cave again, and James's hand has been slashed, and he looks pretty damn angry too. I doubt Clementine or Ten would injure James, so that only leaves one suspect. AJ. He said before how he's wanted to be more violent, and James himself has commented on how much AJ will change if he kills again. I wouldn't be shocked if James and AJ got into some sort of argument over what happened with Lily, which will then result in AJ attacking James and slashing his hand. So yeah, don't worry, there's nothing to worry about here. It's just AJ dangling off a bridge looming his death. This is absolutely fine, nothing to worry about. Now this is a bit of a weird scene with Minerva. She no longer has a crossbow on her, but now she actually has a gun instead. Also, it looks like she's in the same area that we saw previously with Celine and Gina, so maybe there was an altercation that happened between the trio. Slow down this clip and it looks like we've returned to James's barn, which is a little bit weird. If Clementine and AJ were to go off together to try and find everyone like I said previously, then maybe they tried to find James back at his barn, but they failed to do so. Oh yeah, there's no need to worry, everything is fine here. It's just Clementine jumping across a broken bridge, with the very next sequence showing her reach out to hold AJ's hand. But again, there's just no need to worry, this is absolutely fine. It's not like Clementine could die right here in this sequence. Away from the trailer, there's of course also the leaked screenshots and trophies, which could help give us a better indication of what's going to happen in Take Us Back. In regards to the screenshots, there's not actually a lot to talk about this time around. The screenshots for Broken Toys had so much there to interpret and digest, but the same can't be said this time around. Like I said earlier, it seems like James will determinately join us during this cave scene. Also, we get a shot of a wounded Minerva and also a surprised Lily holding the crossbow that we saw in the trailer. Honestly, I just have no words for what either of these shots can mean. Maybe Lily is about to redeem herself, or maybe Minerva is shocked to learn the truth about Violet and Clementine. Now there is one screenshot that looks very interesting, and I imagine this is our first proper look of the Macaro Ranch. If you look closely, you can see a car in the distance that could actually be the car that Clementine and AJ were in at the start of episode 1. Apart from that though, there's just some boxes and bottles around, which doesn't really say a lot if I'm being honest. This screenshot definitely gives me some creepy vibes about the ranch, and to refer to a previous point, we once again see a shade of the colour red. Lastly, there is the promotional poster for this episode, which shows Clementine and AJ standing next to one another. Clementine seems to be holding AJ's gun, which is a bit worrying because we know there's only one bullet left in it, while we can see that AJ is holding the axe that I mentioned before. I really hope this isn't going to be a final stand scene or anything along the lines of that, but I think it would be fantastic if an armed with death like scene played out here. Lastly, I'll quickly comment on the achievements for this episode before ending this pretty long video. The achievements for the 3 acts, Red Water, Final Lesson, and Savior are obviously intriguing names. Red Water now seems like the act will conclude once everyone leaves the boat area, or it could be when Clementine and friends arrive at the weird cave. Final Lesson, while very worrying, could conclude with another flashback sequence, maybe with Lee, or maybe with the truth about the Mercaro Ranch. Meanwhile, Savior supports what I said previously about Clementine and AJ potentially retreating from Erickson to try and save as many of their friends as possible, since that is what a savior is basically. The trophy, Survivor, and Home at Last are used to describe the collectibles portion of the episode, which doesn't explain or reveal anything, other than the fact that we will get to return to Clementine's bedroom some point in this episode. The remaining 4 trophies definitely sound worrying though. Firstly, Goodbye instantly takes me back to this scene in the trailer. I really hope the 2 are not actually connected in any way possible, because I really don't want Clementine or AJ to die. Secondly, You and Me, to me, sounds like it's associated with the Mercaro Ranch in some way. Maybe the trophy will automatically activate, just like with the Nightlight trophy from Broken Toys. The trophy Promise is where things immediately go downhill for me. I can't help but feel that this trophy relates to our choice back in episode 3 about whether or not AJ should kill Clementine if she were to get bit. And last but not least, Lost and Found sounds like a fairly innocent trophy at first, but then you begin to realise what happened to Lee back in season 1. Now I know what some of you are saying, the trophies typically haven't meant a lot in the final season, but then again I wouldn't exactly be surprised if the writers purposefully did this to try and throw fans off. But anyways, like I said before, this is the final stretch. It's weird to think that a story that's been going on for around 7 years now is about to reach its conclusion. In some ways I'm kind of happy that the narrative is ending now, but at the same time I really don't want to say goodbye to Clementine. She's easily my favourite video game protagonist of all time, and Telltale's The Walking Dead is a contender for my favourite video game and franchise of all time. This final episode is the decider though, and I potentially will have 1 or 2 more videos published before Take Us Back launches on the 26th of March, and I'll definitely have a lot more videos to come after that date. If Clementine dies by drowning, then I will riot. For me, I really hope Violet, AJ and Clementine survive, and like I've said countless times in the past, I'm still not fully ready to say goodbye to Clementine. But anyways, that's the video. What do you think will happen in the season finale Take Us Back? Why don't you respond to this video down below or tweet me over at ByJohnSmith. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe while you're at it. And again, why don't you check out another one of my videos while you're at it, and also follow me over on Twitter here. But anyways again, thanks again for stopping by and watching, and also I hope you have a great day.